Okay, what up, friendos, fellow gaming enthusiasts? We have an amazing story here. It's always a good day when you wake up and there's a link in your Discord that says, the day before are back. And this time, they're suing people for calling them a scam. And as somebody who has made that statement on numerous occasions, interesting, I guess, but they are suing not a YouTuber, not a Western game publication. They're suing a Russian publication from their home region, which is Yakutia. I believe it's pronounced. I'm probably wrong. You can let me know how wrong I'm in the comments. But basically, we're going to go through here. We're going to go through the article in which is the issue that Fntastic are raising, saying, oh, you know, they called us a scam. See whether they even did. But first we have to go through, because this info comes from the actual publication. They've came out and said, the disgraced Fntastic filed a lawsuit against us, which is, I mean, that's a YouTube video thumbnail if I've ever seen one. Obviously, if you don't know about the day before, you might be confused, but there's a reason everyone calls this a scam. And the funny thing is that Fntastic, the studio that came, you know, did all these things, they came back and said, oh, you know, we're turning over a new leaf, transparency, you know, buzzword, synergy, all these random fucking things. And, oh, we're just going to prove everyone wrong by making a game. And then didn't get crowdfunded for the game. And then have just sort of vanished. Like, they've not said anything new on their social media for a while. You know, exactly what you'd expect from disgraced game developers who said, we're making a huge open world MMO game. It's going to be amazing. You're going to be able to do X, Y, Z. And then the game comes out and it's not a huge open world MMO game. You can't do X, you can't do Y, and you can do maybe a quarter of Z. And we're not going to tell you about any of those things before you bought the game, which is a bait and switch, which people colloquially would be comfortable calling a scam. But obviously they disagree with this framing. So let's read what the company being sued has to say about this whole thing. They say, the company, Fntastic, located in Kazakhstan, filed a claim with the arbitration court of Yakutia against the editorial board of Oz. The reason was the publication of 2 articles that, according to the plaintiffs, damaged the business reputation of the company. With fucking who? Who? Bro, there is no single entity you could ever accuse of damaging your business reputation apart from yourself. Every single thing that you did, other people just say what you did, and if that damages your reputation, I'm sorry, but your reputation deserves to be damaged. It is what it is. If repeating exactly what you did is the thing that harms you, it's just the truth. It is what it is. Like, this is fucking and also, how can you accuse one company that published like 2 articles of damaging your reputation when you have no products? Like, you have nothing. The company that fucking owned you took all of your IPs and just kicked you out into the cold Siberian snow. The essence of the claim is information affecting aspects of the business reputation of Fntastic. Let us recall the materials were about the grand failure of the game the day before, developed by Fntastic. These events caused a strong reaction among players around the world, which was reflected in numerous articles and publication of bloggers. Yeah. The company was previously founded by the Gotostev brothers from Yakutsk, and for many years enjoyed the support of Yakutia authorities in the IT park, where it had an entire wing of the floor. However, for some time now, Fntastic has been relocated to Central Asia. The Kazakhstani company managed to order a linguistic study. It concluded about the expression in the articles: A, the game developers borrowed mechanics from other games, and B, the word scam was used in the description of their past activities. These expressions, according to the experts' conclusions, affected the company's reputation. Bro, how do you have the money to be paying a company to do a linguistic study on the word scam to conclude that it impacted your reputation? Like, what, bro? Just make a fucking game, please. Why do you exist? Why are you doing this? What do you expect is going to happen from this? Do you think everyone's, if you win a lawsuit against a Russian publication or a Western publication or a blogger or whatever it's going to be, do you think everyone's going to turn around and go, oh, actually, now that you've won a lawsuit for, people using a word you don't like, despite it applying in most people's brain to what you did, to the point where you had to refund every copy of the game purchased ever, forcibly, as far as I'm aware, from Steam, or your publisher, or a combination of the two, do you think everyone's going to look if you win some bullshit lawsuit against, like, oh, they used a word that doesn't technically apply to us in a legal sense, which nobody's using it in, by the way. Do you think if you win that lawsuit, people are going to go, oh, actually, we were harsh on this fucking small indie developer that just had, they were just beat down by the forces of truth. And you're suddenly going to become like a beloved darling, and people are going to give you money for your next dogshit Kickstarter or something. No, this is not real life. This is obviously not a thing that's going to happen. So I just don't know what you're getting out of this. I really don't. If you want to learn how to not damage your reputation, stop doing this. Like, it's fucking crazy to me. When will you motherfuckers learn? Nobody looks favorably upon the aggressor in a lawsuit about using a word that you don't like. You have no reason for anybody to like you, and you're making them like you even less. Presumably, this company wanted to make like a fucking Phoenix-like return from the ashes, and that's why they rebranded all their shit and like put out a big document saying, oh, we're new now, we're gonna accept responsibility. Like, literally words that they said. And then you're doing this. Like, you're doing yourself a mischief, guys. Like, holy shit, this is the most incompetent fucking company I've ever seen in gaming, which is crazy because people like Richard Garriott exist, and Caspian, and, insert list of other people we've covered. We, for our part, replaced the word scam with embarrassment, and the statement about borrowing mechanics with an exact quote from the video blog of IXBT Games dedicated to the failure the day before. So they didn't even call it, they just quoted somebody else who did. The quote talked about how American bloggers discovered many borrowings from other games. Statement of actual factual truth, by the way. Their fucking logo. When I made my videos about the day before, I used the font in the exact style that they made the game's font. And how did I create that font? I Googled The Last of Us font recreation in Photoshop and copied it, and it was one-to-one the exact same font and style and everything to The Last of Us. Identical. There were shots from all of the trailers that they directly lifted one-to-one from other games like Call of Duty. One of the buildings that they used was a direct, actual, like, one-to-one recreation of a shot from the John Wick films. Like, this game was completely devoid. It was completely bereft of fucking creativity or originality at all. There wasn't one shred of original about this game. People accused them of stealing assets, which they didn't do, because the vast majority of things in the game were store-bought assets anyway. So, it is what it is. The word scam is relatively new in the Russian language and has a wide range of meanings from failure to fraud. However, the article did not talk about fraud, but described the unexpected appearance of the company Fntastic in the information field with an apology after the failure. To avoid double understanding, we replaced the word scam. But this did not satisfy the Gotestevs. Fntastic offered to settle the conflict out of court only if we remove the article and apologize. Yeah, you're looking really good, guys. You're looking like really nice guys that the games industry would want to support. But they don't care. Because this will be like a business thing. This will be like, oh, if our names are attached to this and people in our region are calling us these things, maybe we'll have less business opportunities. Unfucking luck. I'm sure this will help you out, because obviously this is not going to make you look even worse. I wonder if readers want these demands to be met. No. Based on the basic principles of journalism, we consider them pressure on freedom of speech and cannot remove the materials. True. Therefore, the decision was made to sue Fntastic. This is probably a mistranslation, because I believe they're being sued and they're not suing Fntastic. Maybe they'll clear it up. It should be noted that despite the appearance of similar articles all over the world, Fntastic decided to sue us. At least we have not heard of them suing, for example, the authoritative portal IXBT.com, which initially monitored the activities of the brothers and steamrolled their reputation, emotionally speaking about them in their video blogs. It is possible that the brothers are not ready for big projects and therefore direct their gaze only to where their hands can reach. It seems that despite colossal support of their native Republican game dev giants such as Mytona, the brothers have remained at the level of amateurs who are trying to put on a good face when things are going badly. To be continued. Mate, so they're still wrecking them. They're still wrecking them after the threats and the fact that they're going to court, which is, you know, props to you guys. Big round of applause. You're doing journalism proud. Fuck these guys. Absolutely. So let's look at what they reported that was, so nasty we had to take them to court. The scandalous Go to Sev brothers are raising money for a new game. Statement of fact. A scandalous video game developer, a graduate of the Yakut IT Park, the Fntastic studio, is trying to jump into game development again after the grave failure of the game the day before, which the Republic was so proud of. The brothers disappeared from the radar and the company announced its closure in December of 2023. The news came out recently. They're back in the saddle. They're trying to raise money through Kickstarter crowdfunding again. Fortunately, the company has experience with this. In 2015, they raised $60,000 to launch the Wild 8. So far, believers in the new project have contributed $382. Womp womp. Fntastic, explaining their new project, profusely apologized for the previous embarrassment and asked to believe in them because they will change and will fix everything. Oh, this aged. Oh man, I've got some fucking milk I left out on the side the other day that's aged better than this statement. Oh man, believe in us, guys. We're going to change. Everything's going to be good. We sincerely apologize for everything that happened. We'll fix it all. This is like an abusive fucking spouse. Oh, you know, I'm not going to do that anymore. Fucking while taking off the belt. Like, don't say anything that'll trigger me. Like, what the fuck? Now they are Fntastic 2.0 and they have a plan. Sue journalists and everything will be fine. The main thing is to help them return to the industry. We truly hope for your support. The brothers write in their appeal to donators. In their new plan, they put the principles first in big red letters. Honesty, transparency, professionalism. Wow, so professional. You used a word we didn't like, and then you removed the word, but you didn't remove the article. We're suing you, even though there's hundreds of other people we could go and sue that have said the same, if not worse. But no, we're coming after you because you live where we live, or used to because we moved to Asia to avoid the fact that people didn't want to do business with Russian businesses while they were invading Ukraine. So they all moved to like Singapore and stuff like that, because of course they did. So yeah, this is a scathing article. Honesty, transparency, professionalism. I want to stand up, salute, and hug the brothers. Their new slogan is, our mission is to create games that will be loved for decades. Breathe a sigh of relief. The company's new project, a game called Escape Factory, which is being funded by compassionate donors, is a kind of casual runner. By the way, they abandoned this game as well. Just did. If you didn't follow along, they put up the Kickstarter. The Kickstarter raised almost no money. They then took the Kickstarter down before the end date and said, oh, we've changed our mind, actually. Not even admitting to the fact that just nobody would give them money. So you didn't change your mind. Your mind was forcibly changed by the fact it was not feasible to do. And instead they said, oh, we're going to go back to what people loved. We're going to make another, like, props game, you know, a prop hunt game. Because that's what was our most successful game, but we can't use the one before because we don't own it anymore. And since then we've heard they posted like a couple of things on their Twitter. November 26th, 2024. Oh, come join our Discord server. Here's a filing cabinet. Ooh, great. Here's a man for our new game. And then they've just not posted since November. Like, it is what it is. The guys who rethought the video game business went to raise no less than $700,000 for the project. This is stated in the plan under the exclamation, together we make history. Well, if you made history, I like to point that out. In any case, let's wish our compatriots good luck in the difficult path of the game production. What they mean is they wanted to raise this. They didn't raise any money for this, as far as I'm aware. Let us recall that the long-awaited game the day before was a huge disappointment to buyers. It turned out that the delightful teasers, aka trailers, of the video game, which has been released for several years, had nothing to do with the game, which turned out to be poor, raw, and with many errors. Buyers were very surprised by such a brazen deception and demanded a refund. The company assures that they returned every penny. This is true, they did, because Steam refunded everybody. Like, forcibly refunded everyone as well. Not like, oh, I want my money back. Please, Steam, give me my money. And Steam said, yeah, here you go. They said, if you bought this game, boom, you have the money back in your account. It should be noted that the Fntastic company was supported by the gaming giant from Yakutia, Mytona, and the Yakut government through state IT structures. Man, they must have been disappointed. So this is the article that they're suing them for. According to this, this is the article, right? I've clicked on it. You can see this is what they're suing them for. They literally just reported exactly what happened and what all the people said. And they're suing them for this. This is a new level of pathetic that I didn't previously think possible for these guys. It wouldn't surprise me if they start DMCAing people and stuff now. But then again, they can't. They don't own the game anymore. If they start DMCAing people based on like gameplay or trailer footage or whatever, they would be directly in breach of the DMCA because they don't own the copyright. Mytona does. Because as they've said repeatedly, we don't own the games. Like they've said this over and over again to people. We can't bring the day before back. We don't own it. We can't bring Prop 1 back. We don't own it. So that would be hilarious if they did. But that's just, this is the least lawsuit worthy article I think I've ever read. They said apparently they used in here the word scam before, but they removed it for better accuracy. So they basically tried to give them like an out of, okay, you don't like that word, we won't use it. And they still are going to take them to court over this. If they win, I mean, what do you say? I know nothing about the court system over there. I don't know how much they care about freedom of speech or the truth or what the defense would be here. But either way, it's just the day before developers doing the day before developer things again. This is legitimately the story that will never end because these motherfuckers, they just can't help themselves. Every time there's a way to do something the worst possible way, they will certainly do it in that fashion. They'll even create a new fashion to do things that you didn't previously think possible. For instance, when the game was being advertised originally, they could very simply have just came out and said, oh, we wanted to do this with the game, but the reason we've had to delay so many times is because we just can't get there. We're a small studio. We're going to rethink and limit the scope of the game, and we're going to do a smaller area and like an extraction shooter. And then if we get enough money and enough time, we will scale up to being the MMO. And everyone would have went, wow, you know, that's great for an indie developer to do. We appreciate you not lying to us. We appreciate you understanding your limitations, and we'll go into that with the information you've given us. And instead, they just repeatedly said things like, oh, we're upgrading to Unreal Engine 5 to make the game even better, and that's going to cause a year delay. Oh, we're delaying because of X reason or Y reason. Repeatedly still saying the game's going to be this thing. Right up until the day the game launched, people bought it with money, opened it up, and realized it's just an extraction shooter with like a tiny hub, and half the shit in the game doesn't work. Like, never mentioned anything. Oh, you know, don't set your expectations too high, guys, because they were just riding the hype wave constantly from something they never should have had. They were surprised by how popular the initial trailer was, because it was the type of game people in their brain are like, oh yeah, that looks amazing, that looks great, because of how grand the vision is, because of how how open the trailer was. But in reality, they were never going to make that game. That much was obvious to everybody that knows anything about game development. And the further it went on, the more you could just look at what they were showing you and be like, this is not real. Like, this is not going to be the game. And lo and behold, it wasn't, but they never told anybody. They just let everyone assume and then spend money on something that was not the thing they helped them to assume. So this company can't make a comeback ever. I don't know why the fuck they're trying. They should have came back with another name and like a front man on the company, and if they wanted to get back into game development and just continued obfuscating the truth, because at this point, whatever these guys touch with their name on it, people are just going to keep finding reasons to mistrust them, because that's all they give people. And if they're going to start punishing journalists for writing objectively true statements about them, what does this say about your fucking professionalism, transparency, and honesty, and taking accountability for what you did? it says that that was, again, just more lies. So yeah, that's Fntastic, the fucking one of the worst, most disgraceful companies I've ever seen in video games. And I imagine this won't be the last video. I imagine some other stuff's going to happen with this, because usually when people start doing legal stuff, they don't just do it with one person. So we'll have to see where that goes. And but either way, thanks for watching as always, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Check the links in the video description. Suggest me content if you see anything on the internet you want my opinion about, you want to see me cover, anything you want looked into. Kickstarter scams, you know, they're fucking plenty again. And also check out GamerSupps if you want to buy some waifu cups, some waifu merch. I'm wearing my lovely waifu pajama bottoms again. Love these, super comfortable. If you use my code, you get a discount and I'll get kickback on any money you spend. Win-win for everyone. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Stay safe. Peace.